Hello, everyone. I'm out walking again, and I'm walking more often now because I'm somewhat mid flare up. So, like I said yesterday, my left hand has been acting up, and it's a weird feeling. So, to describe it, it is basically like if you felt everything you've ever felt, like every sensation you can feel at once, and nothing at all at the same time. So, it's a super confusing feeling. So, at random moments my hand will feel like a wave come over it, and I'll feel every single possible sensation I can feel all in the same spot. And then it also feels like I'm feeling nothing at the same time. And at times it also feels like I have phantom limb, which is something that people get when they lose a limb. They can still feel it, but instead of feeling my limb in a weird place, I feel a completely separate limb. So it'll literally feel as if I have like three arms and they'll be in different places, which can be confusing to the brain. Which means also that until the feeling goes away, until it stabilizes, I can't move my hand. It locks up in place. It does whatever it feels like because I literally cannot control it, because I can't even tell where my arm actually is. I can't tell when my arm starts and when my arm ends. And it's sending so much information to my brain that my brain starts to get overloaded by the amount of sensations that are coming in from the exact same spot. So basically, it's like if you touch the arm someplace, so just feeling the sensation of being touched, so the sensation of something hot there, you're feeling the sensation of ice, heat, burning, flames, fire, pain, tickling, everything all at once, all in the same spot. And my arm just goes haywire. It's not the first time. It's actually happened quite a few times, and it happens quite often whenever I have a flare up or whenever I'm in recovery from a flare up. Usually, right before everything gets better, as I get the ability to use whatever was lost back. That's the sensation and the feelings that come from it once in a while. And it'll spasm and it'll give me that sensation over and over again. However, the part that's not so great right now is the fact that there was no flare up, well, at least recently, not for a few months, because the last time was in November, at the beginning of November, and it's now almost the end of February. So it's been a little while since the last major event, and I didn't have any, well, side after effects as I usually do. And now I'm feeling the after effects that are starting and they're slowly getting, well, they were getting worse. They kind of stabilized as of yesterday. They haven't gotten worse and they haven't gotten better, which is a good thing because that means I'm not getting worse anymore. It means I'm starting to heal again. So it's a good thing for the most part. It just sucks dealing with the random inability to use my hand. It's a good thing I don't drive with that hand because it would suck because I won't be able to move it for, it lasts about a minute, sometimes two. And sometimes it affects my leg also. Rarely, but it does affect it once in a while. But it's a good thing it's on my left side and not my right side, which is the side I use to drive. So right leg and right hand is mostly what I use to drive. I don't drive with two hands because the amount of flips I've had and the loss of control of my limbs more than once means I can't really control them both at the same time, doing things that match. They tend to do opposite things, so don't drive with both hands at the same time. Also, I'm gonna talk a little bit about helping deal with it for people that just have MS, who've been diagnosed recently or who've had their first flare up and is dealing with it currently. It's just some advice from someone who's done it about 10 times already to help you get over it faster and deal with it more easily so it doesn't affect you as much or make your life a little bit easier. And like one of the things I've learned is don't try to power through it. Don't pretend like nothing's happening. Don't do that. That usually makes it worse. And I say that makes it worse because usually when this starts happening, for instance, when my hands start locking up, if I try to pretend it's not happening, I try to continue doing what I'm doing with the hand just as if it's not happening, it makes it worse and it usually makes it last longer. Usually what helps is to actually just stop what you're doing and relax. Think about what's going on less. Try to focus less on your actual wherever the symptoms are coming from. So if your leg isn't messed up, focus on the other leg. Try and not think about wherever the sensations or wherever it's not working currently is. So think about someplace else on your body. Try to focus your attention to like your other arm, your other leg, or try to like slow down your movements to that area, because it's from what I've learned, my experiences, the more you try to control it in that moment where you're having a spasm or a flare up, the worse it gets, because your brain is already a little bit overloaded and is a little bit confused, and it's already having to deal with the fact that the spasm is going on. So trying to push other things through at the same time tends to make everything worse and tends to make it a little bit harder. I tend to personally think about it kind of like wiring for a computer or a car, or any wiring for anything basically. So your brain is sending signals to whatever it is that needs to operate, and the wiring got damaged, and the wiring is crossing with something else. So now when the signal goes through, it's crossing with other things, and the signal's not getting through completely. So if you, instead of just slowing down and waiting for everything and sorting out and letting that wire move back to where it should be, you keep sending more and more signals, then more and more signals will cross it more and more, and it will make the wire that's touching something else even worse, and sometimes it will even cause that wire to fuse and burn and have even more damage. So that's how I think about it, because in MS, one of the things that happens in your brains is the melanin coating of your cells, your nervous cells, gets worn down a little bit whenever you have a flare up, which is what causes you to lose control of things. And then you're having a lot of information run through these cells that already don't have proper coating and proper things. So now the signal is basically bleeding out of these cells. And the more you send through it, the more stress you're putting on this cell. And the more information you're running through it, the easier it is for that information to get lost due to stress from that one cell and stress from the area that's not functioning as well as it should. So reducing the stress and reducing the information running through that cell a lot of times helps reduce the severity of whatever is going on, and a lot of times can allow your body to slow down enough to stop. And I've also noticed that a higher heart rate actually does negatively impact whatever is going on with you at the moment. So, for instance, when you're running, your heart rate goes up, and if you're starting to have a spasm, it seems as though your higher heart rate at that same time makes the spasm worse. Which is why I try to stay calm and try not to have elevated heart rate as less as possible without a need for it. Yes, when I exercise, your heart rate's going to go up, but if I'm not exercising and stuff like that, I prefer to let my heart rate stay low by reducing the level of stress and not doing things that unnecessarily raise my heart rate. Because it seems as though just your blood flowing at a much faster rate through your body can agitate these cells that are already slightly damaged and can cause unnecessary spasms and unnecessary things that don't need to be happening. So keeping a calm and relaxed state of mind and state of body, it can help keep your flare-ups a little bit milder and can help you control them a little bit better and control your body a little bit better while you're having a flare-up. So in addition to all of this, I drink a lot more water, because water does help a lot. Staying hydrated helps, and it helps keep anything in your system that would affect you negatively out of your system also. So drink a lot of water, especially when you're having a flare-up. It can help reduce your symptoms of the flare-up and can help reduce like spasms and things like that. And then my last thing that I do is I try to get a little bit more sleep. And I don't really mean going from sleeping 8 hours a day to sleeping like 9 hours when you go to sleep, because I find that to be actually kind of bad for when you go from sleeping if you normally sleep 6 hours to then jump to like 8 hours. I tend to feel like it starts to like negatively impact you, because whenever I do something like that, I get like more headaches. My spasms actually increase. Even if I wasn't having spasms or anything before, like I'll get them whenever I increase the amount of sleep I have all at once. So usually when I'm having like a flare up or I don't feel well, a lot of times I'll just take like a couple naps during the day, or one, maybe two naps during the day. I'll still try to sleep as much as I can the same amount of time. So I try to stay on a sleep schedule or sleep the same amount of time every night. I don't necessarily keep a schedule of going to sleep the same time and waking up the same time. I try to, but for the most part, I try to get like 5.5 to 6 hours of sleep at once. I find that anything more than that, I start to get headaches. Anything less than that, I get really bad headaches. So I try to stay within the 5.5 to 6 hour sleep frame. That makes me feel best. And usually, if I'm starting to feel bad, I'll try to go to sleep earlier. And I usually wake up during the night for a little while, maybe a half an hour to an hour, and then I'll go back to sleep for another 2 or 3 hours. That way I'm not sleeping all continuously. It gives me time to wake up and let my body wake up completely, and then I go back down to sleep again. Because it seems as though, at least for me, sleeping continuously for more than 6 hours does start to negatively impact me. So that's something you can try for yourself. See how much sleep actually is best for you, how much continuous sleep is best, whether you're going to sleep for 6 hours straight or 8 hours sleep makes you feel better versus sleeping for 4 hours and then waking up and then sleeping another 4 hours makes you feel better. But I feel that with this disease, it seems as though the longer you sleep, the more active your immune system gets to help your body repair itself. And when it starts to get more active to help our body repairs itself, it usually ends up doing more harm than good. So I try to sleep so my body can repair itself, so my immune system be relatively active and do what it needs to do, then wake up and let the sleep cycle in your body start over so that you can sleep a little bit longer and rest some more so that your body can heal a little bit longer. But I find doing it all at once actually lets your immune system get a little bit too active and starts doing more damage, and you end up not really getting any healing done because your immune system did a lot more damage than it should have when you were sleeping. But that's about what I have for today and the tips I have for dealing with a flare-up, especially when you have MS. So hope you guys enjoy, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.